Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. The hoodies are back. It's actually finally getting colder outside, which I am definitely more of a fall winter kind of guy, so I'm appreciating it because the weather has been particularly hot around here really late into the season. So anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at the rehousings of two Phormictopus species. We're not sure what they actually are, but a few years ago, and I'll go into more detail about this in the video, a bunch of new Phormictopus species were offered, and I picked a bunch of them up to see what they were. Anyway, today we have Phormictopus species Santiago and Phormictopus species Sierra. So we're going to look at them, talk a bit about them. They're a little unusual compared to other Phormictopus species that I've kept, and we'll obviously talk about that once we get into the video. But obviously, I love Phormictopus, and if there's one out there that's offered that I haven't seen before, I think I don't have, I will go out and buy it. And one of the reasons I do so is I'm hoping that I can make videos like this in the future where we kind of say either, hey, this might be something brand new, or I don't know what it is, or it's just a Cancerides or Atrochromatus, which it seems to be a lot of the ones that are offered on the market right now are just variants or regional variants of those species. So I'm not sure what I have here. We'll see, but I'm hoping, and I'm going to reiterate this at the end of the video, that those of you that have picked these guys up, and I'm hoping there's some of you out there that see this video, will comment on what you're seeing. So anyway, enough of me talking. Let's take a look at Phormictopus species Sierra and Phormictopus species Santiago. All right, so we're about to rehouse a couple Phormictopus species. What we have here are Phormictopus. Why do I got these backwards? This will make it easier. Phormictopus species Sierra and Phormictopus species, I think it's Santiago. Yep, Santiago. So the history of these, I picked these up from Joe Rossi back in October 2nd of 2021, so almost exactly 4 years ago. And at that time, there were a bunch of new quote-unquote species of Phormictopus being offered for exorbitant prices. I mean, we're talking they were like $200 a sling. He had a really good deal on 4 species. He had Santiago, Sierra, Oriente, and Sabana. So the Oriente and Sabana, we already rehoused a while back, and they are quite big right now. The Oriente's got some purple on it. The Sabana looks exactly like Phormictopus Atrochromatus, and I spoke to a gentleman on Instagram. I didn't ask permission to use his name, but he's contacted me before. He lives over there. He's studied all the regional variants of Atrochromatus for years. I think he's been doing it since 1988, and he said a lot of those new ones that were offered on the market were just different regional variants of Atrochromatus. So, for example, he named Sabana by, that was one of the ones he actually talked about and said this one is. Baiahibe was another one. Apparently, the Atrochromatus can come in a myriad of colors. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Anytime we're talking about Phormictopus, the genus is a mess, and a lot of the ones that are offered are probably just different color variants of already established species. That's important to know. So it's either probably, a lot of them are probably Atrochromatus, and a lot of them are probably Cancerides, because I know I've seen Cancerides that are lighter and more bronze. I've seen ones that are purplish. I've seen ones that are almost black. They run the gamut in terms of colors. So always keep that in mind. I always like to explain that. I like to buy them all up just in case, because every once in a while you get one that you weren't expecting and it's amazing. And then sometimes you get ones that's like, wow, this looks familiar. I just got one of the species I got. Which one was it? Oh, crud. I forgot to write it down. Oh, wait a minute. Was it the Salinas? I think it's the Salinas. Looks exactly like Phormictopus species green femur. So it's probably just something somebody picked up, put in there, but it's the same spider a lot of people already have. So enough of that. Let's open these up. Now, what I want to point out about these guys is, as I said, the other ones now are pushing 6 inches or so, maybe even larger. These guys are small. So first we'll look at the Sierra. This one is ridiculously small for a 4-year-old Phormictopus species. Oh, no, this is one that's slightly bigger, I think. Is it the Domingo this smaller? All right, so what we're going to do is take a closer look at this one here. And as you can see, nothing too spectacular. It looks like it could be, there's some green on the carapace, kind of brownish bronze legs overall. Looks like it could be easily a Phormictopus Atrochromatus, but cool looking. But the thing that's throwing me off is the size. This one here is only about 4 inches or so. I forgot to put the centimeters down for this one, but I'll put them up in the notes. So it hasn't grown very quickly at all, and it was fed and kept the exact same way as the others I got. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the top on that for a second. Take a look at the other one.
She's beautiful, though.
Oh, it's a great looking spider. It almost has purplish, but all of them are starting to look exactly the same, which I'm fine with. That's the chance you take when you pick these guys up. What's making me think that maybe, just maybe, they're different is how small they are. Now, if you think that one is small there, take a gander at this one here. This one blows my mind because I have never, the slowest growing Phormictopus species I have kept are a Rhodus that grew slightly more slowly than some of the other ones. This one here, 4 years old, and as you can see, she's hopefully going to be pre-molt soon. About 3 inches. That is a small Phormictopus for one that, when I got them both, they were both around 1¼ inches. Now this one here is about 3 and the other one's about 4. The other two I got are all 6 or 7. So growing very slowly in the same exact setup, same type environment, same temperature, same humidity, same feeding schedule, just super tiny. So I'm holding out hopes that this may be just, I might have lucked out, this may be a smaller species of Phormictopus. I would be curious. I know other folks out there have picked up this one, the Santiago. I'd be curious to hear what the growth rate is with yours. Maybe I just have a super slow growing one. So I'm going to take the flashlight off this. So the containers I currently have them in are the Sterilite ID latches. I love these for juveniles. They're very easy. I put the little holes, ventilation holes all around. These measure 7 5/8 by 5 5/8 by 6 inches high, or 19 by 14 by 15 centimeters. Again, these are great for juvenile fossorial species. I've even put a boreal in here, but you can see no longer doing any burrowing, but there isn't really a lot of this. There's depth, but there isn't really a lot of room for it. And then what we're putting them into is this over here. Now, I love to use a variety of enclosures, and I love these enclosures for larger adults, especially ones that I'm not sure, what I'm going to put them into for their final enclosure. So these, some I have, they're living in these permanently, they're doing fine. A lot of times what I do, though, is I put them eventually into bigger and nicer enclosures. But this here is the Sterilite Clear View latch. I believe it's 15 quarts, or measures 17 inches by 11 inches by 6.5 high, or 43 by 28 by 16.5 centimeters. I have a bunch of these, probably close to 24 of these in circulation right now. I love them for the larger specimens, especially my Phormictopus, Panthobidius, Zenestus. When I'm waiting to find out if I have a male or a female and they're getting too big, I put them in one of these. It gives them enough room to do some digging. Notice there's enough room in here with the dirt, and gives them some room to grow without breaking the bank. Now, what is the downside of these? Obviously, they're very milky. That's the biggest complaint about the Sterilite, and you can't see into them very well. But I'm usually feeding or doing something with them once a week or so. So once I take the top off, I can see them fine. So let's go ahead and get one of these out. It looks like we have species Sierra here, so we'll do that one first. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this here. And of course, this isn't going to fit. This is why you should always check ahead of time. Remember I said I need the smaller one, and I couldn't figure out why, so let's do this.
Well, that's one way to do it.
We'll probably do a little poke in the boot. Nope, you want to go now. Simply limeade. You're going to go right through there. Right through there. No, oh my, did you see that?
No.
Oh.
This simple limeade label's in the way.
Oh, it's the first time it actually kicked.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what, we're just going to let her go out this way. Seems to prefer that. She seems to want to live in here forever. We're going to get the infamous Phormictopus threat posture in a minute. There we go. There it is.
Whoa. Spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so cute. Holy crap. There she goes.
And, oh, sorry, it was a little more difficult than it really needed to be, but that was because of the container. I probably should use the smaller one. So there she is. No, she calmed right down. But I do want to point out that is only, I'm going to say I've seen it once before, but I think that might be the only time I've ever seen one of these try to kick. Phormictopus are not known for kicking. If anything, they'll stand their ground, throw up that amazing threat posture, which I find kind of funny because sometimes they get so into it that they actually flip over backwards. But I notice a lot of times the fangs aren't out. You know, she's showing up. I'm kind of curious if putting her in this larger enclosure might encourage some more growth. She's just, they're eating great. They eat a lot. They eat like once a week or so. Actually, I've been feeding about once every 2 weeks or so, but they're just not molting all that often and putting on a lot of size. All right, let's get this one covered. And we'll get this one in and I'll talk about what I got in for the setup. Oh. Round 2. Oh, I really wish I had found the smaller one.
Is it right back down there?
I don't know.
No.
No. Oh, right there. This might work.
Oh.
All right, so what we're doing now is the Santiago. This is the super small one. Like ridiculously small for a Phormictopus. I've had Phormictopus get this size in like 6 months. Perfect.
That was easy.
And done.
Nice.
That's definitely going to give her some room to grow. Now, if you look at her abdomen, she just ate yesterday. She continues to eat. They fatten up quite a bit. They just take a while to molt in between. So I'm very curious to see. I'm saying she. I'm assuming with such slow growth that it's a female. Like usually the males mature out by now. I've already had, which one was it? No, none of them have matured out yet. But one of them I have a male is probably going to mature out the next molt. So they've been growing just very, very slowly. But this is ridiculous. I guess she's probably, I don't know. She's small, maybe close to 4 inches. So maybe not 3, maybe 4. But still, that's really small for a Phormictopus that's 4 years old. So just to talk a bit about what I have inside this enclosure. Really wants to back up for a second. So what we have here, the mixture of the substrate is a mixture of cocoa fiber and peat, mostly cocoa fiber and peat with some vermiculite worked in. It just kind of helps retain water and helps the water kind of percolate down through. I did most of it was somewhat damp because unfortunately, although I've been trying to dry out the stuff I mixed up, it was somewhat damp, but I put some dry on the top just in case. We have some leaf litter. I threw in some moss just in case. I don't know, she's not going to do anything with it. And then we have a little cup here for a water dish. I do have to order some more water, nicer water dishes, but that will obviously suffice for the time being. And then we have ventilation on all 4 sides. So this will give her plenty of room. I have spiders in these that are 7, even 8 inches, and they do pretty well in them. Usually by that point, though, I'm looking at something nicer and bigger to put them into so I can show them off. So who knows what these are? I'm hoping this one here at least is a new species only because of how small it is, but I could just have a runt, a very slow growing one. Time will tell. But that's the problem. It's part of the fun and part of the problem with keeping Phormictopus species is that you're going to pick ones up that you're going to think are new species. You're going to, cross your fingers, cross your toes, hope that they end up being something new, but a lot of times they're just going to end up being pre-existing species that we've already had with just different colorations. But if I can get a blue one, a purple one, a reddish one, a bronze one, a gold one, I'm okay with it, even if it's the same species, as long as the colors are different. So there we go. Phormictopus species Santiago, Phormictopus species Sierra, all in their new enclosures. And I'll obviously keep folks that are interested in them as these guys grow, what they end up being. So unfortunately, I was going to post this one last week and I wasn't able to, but they gave me another week to kind of let these guys settle in. So as you can see here, the species Sierra hasn't done much. She's sitting right out in the open like most adult Phormictopus species do for me. And she actually ate after we did this video here, but looking pretty, but not doing all that much burrowing, which is fine. So that means she was probably done with the burrowing. But when we look over at the Santiago, we'll see that the Santiago actually did a bunch of burrowing, brought a bunch of dirt up, and has completely filled in the entrance to its burrow. So I have a funny feeling that a molt is on the way. So I'll be very curious to see what this one looks like after she gets out. And this is one of the reasons I like to rehouse them into something bigger, because it gives them space to do what they need to do. So there's a very good chance that Santiago would have liked to continue burrowing in that container I had her in, but it was too small. There wasn't enough room to do so. So this one will at least give her the room to burrow and allow her to feel safe and secure while she molts. So again, I implore you, if anybody bought these guys when they were out, even if it isn't from the same dealer, I would love to hear from you. What are you seeing with yours? Are you getting the same slow growth? That's the only thing making me think that these may be something different, is I have never, ever had a Phormictopus species grow so slowly. I think the slowest growing ones I have had to date were the Phormictopus auratus. Those grow a little less quickly than some of the other ones. I think they only hit like 3.5, 4 inches in the first year. Not 4 years, they were already like 6 inches or so. So I'd love to hear from you guys, because again, I love making these videos to show folks how to keep them, how to care for them, my experiences with them, but also I get a lot of information back from you guys because I'm only a one-man show over here. So I'd love to hear what you guys are seeing as far as these two Phormictopus species. So that will do it for this one. Guys, you know the drill. If you liked it enough to subscribe, you're brand new, this is the first video you watch, please check more stuff out. But you can subscribe up in here. I'll put some other videos over in here. You take the time to comment, I'll take the time to respond. Just know it can take me a little while. I always get around to them eventually, but lately I'm back in school. My time's a little bit limited, so I've been struggling to keep up. But I will get back to you. Guys, as always, stay safe. We'll catch you all next time.